everyone! Today's video I wanted to go over what I've learned recently about what happened in Hungnam in the 1950s. I hadn't really heard this story before, and I have a best friend in South Korea, and she actually asked me if I had heard about it, and it's something that wasn't really taught to me in school, and I haven't heard about much of now. But when she asked me about it, I was like, no, and so she asked for me to research it and look it up, and so I did. And I found this fascinating story about American troops whenever they were pulling out of North Korea, how they rescued refugees along with them. So that's what this video is going to be about today. It's great to talk about, with my friend in South Korea, all of the things that she learned growing up in school and all of the things that I have, and we've really surprised each other about how the differences between Korean education and American education, and it's been really fun to discuss these things with her, and I absolutely adore her, and I can't imagine my life now without her in it. So I'm so happy that she has become my best friend, one of my best friends. And so this video is about Hungnam. In December 1950, as the People's Republic of China intervened in the Korean War, threatening UN units operating in North Korean mountains, General Douglas MacArthur ordered the sea evacuation of the U.S. X-Corps from North Korea. Vice Admiral C. Turner Joy had prepared for this contingency, deploying naval forces off Hungnam's east coast. Another mission led by Rear Admiral Lyman A. Thackeray handled evacuation from Sinnampu and Incheon on Korea's west coast. Thackeray's ships evacuated over 69,000 military personnel, 64,000 refugees, and significant cargo from Incheon. As U.S. Marines and soldiers fought out of encirclement in northeast Korea, Navy and Marine aircraft operating from airfields ashore and Task Force 77 ships supported them. Cruisers, destroyers, and rocket ships forming Rear Admiral Roscoe H. Heunglin-Coulter's Gunfire Support Group created a defensive perimeter around Hungnam, firing thousands of rounds at the Chinese army. On December 10th, Rear Admiral James H. Doyle began embarking ground troops and equipment from Hungnam. The evacuation included the U.S. 1st Marine Division, 7th Infantry Division, 3rd Infantry Division, and the Republic of Korea I Corps. By Christmas Eve, Task Force 90 had evacuated 105,000 military personnel, 17,500 vehicles, 350,000 tons of cargo, and 91,000 Korean civilians. Navy underwater demolition teams ensured little military value remained for the enemy. As the fleet departed, explosions rocked the waterfront, destroying port facilities. The evacuated troops were disembarked at secure South Korean ports, showcasing the flexibility and mobility of sea power. They were back on the front lines in a few weeks, defending South Korea from Chinese and North Korean aggression. The evacuation of Hungnam, often described as an amphibious Operation Reverse, involved the safe withdrawal of the majority of UN forces in eastern North Korea during the Korean War. Over 2 weeks, it marked the largest sea lift since the 1945 Okinawa operation. It rescued thousands of military personnel, thousands of equipment, thousands of civilian refugees. While the Chinese did not significantly interfere with the withdrawal, the potential threat they posed led to vigorous bombardment by aircraft, artillery ashore, and naval guns. Air cover from Yeonpor airfield was available until its abandonment on December 14th. During the final 10 days, Navy Marine carrier-borne planes provided air support, and naval gunfire came from heavy cruisers, battleships, destroyers, and rocket ships. Approximately 100 U.S. ships, including the SS Meredith Victory, were dispatched for a daring evacuation mission. Despite military priorities, the troops and crews, guided by their better angels, undertook a historic effort, rescuing both civilians and soldiers in what became the largest seaborne evacuation under combat conditions in U.S. history. Among the refugees was Han'Guk, who, with her mother, faced harsh conditions aboard overcrowded ships. Remarkably, all 200,000 passengers, including Han'Guk, reached South Korea safely. The SS Meredith Victory, the largest ship, carried 14,000 refugees, earning the crew's nickname for the newborns as Kimchi. Mr. Lee, known as Kimchi 5, still resides on Goji Island, where the ship docked and aims to create a memorial for the historic evacuation. However, tragedy struck the first baby born on board, Son Young, Kimchi 1. His parents, believing the separation would be temporary, left their 2 other children behind in North Korea. Unfortunately, they never reunited due to a lasting division of the Korean peninsula. Son Young, now an adult, yearns for the reunification of Korea and seeks to meet his long-lost siblings through international Red Cross efforts. The evacuation was not without sacrifice. As the Americans departed from Hungnam, Rear Admiral James Doyle witnessed numerous refugees left ashore. The U.S. forced to destroy the port to prevent Chinese forces from seizing remaining supplies faced a heartbreaking reality. Han'Guk remembers the port turning into a sea of fire. Many who couldn't reach the ships likely perished. Mr. Son reflects on the sorrow and pain of a divided family, hoping for the reunification of Korea and a chance to see his brother and sister again. My friend shared Korean resources with me that I read through and looked over and was surprised about, as there was information there that was from a different perspective than the American articles and resources that I have been reading for this video. Found that during the evacuation at Heungnam Pier, huge number of refugees were flocking due to rumors that the U.S. atomic bomb would be dropped soon on North Korea. As many as 100,000 refugees gathered, saying, "If you leave us, we'll all die. Take us with you." The U.S. military was embarrassed, fearing that there might be guerrillas among them. However, the Korean military commanders resisted. Rather than abandoning the refugees, they preferred to retreat on foot. Therefore, the U.S. military had no choice but to accept if there was room left to carry troops and equipment, then they needed to take refugees. The situation on the pier soon became chaotic. Only on ships with a capacity of 2,000 people, 14,000 people were being crammed. Refugees tried to board before others, and many of them were flocking to their death. Countless people died trying to board the ship. They tried to climb up the net of the ship, and many fell to their death. The biting cold wind blew even harder since the port was by the sea. When the ships left the dock, it took several days to return. Meanwhile, bodies froze to death from the cold, and countless items were abandoned on the dockside every night. But even so, the refugees who remained on the dockside were able to escape safely. There were over 100,000 people in total, and when the withdrawal was over, the port was soon blown up. Unthinkable things were happening on board the ship. First, I read about a tragic story of a young woman in her mid-30s carrying an offspring. She was noticed as being the wife of a communist. Someone yelled, "What kind of shame does a vicious communist have to get on this ship?" Then people around them shouted loudly, "Kill her! Drag her out the boat!" The woman turned pale, tears pouring down her face. Carrying her offspring, she jumped off the boat, and in an instant, big waves swallowed both of them. Even if she had not jumped, she would have been beaten to death. Such a terrible story. There's also stories of hope. In the cramped boats, there were 5 new lives born. Even in a war of death and killing, the hope of a new life was sprouting. The refugees were sent to Goji Island. At that time, Busan was already full with 1 million refugees and was no longer accepting more. However, when the people on the boat heard the news that they were being sent to Goji Island and not Busan, they were upset. Once they got to Goji Island, however, they were amazed. They were surprised at even in the winter the grass was green. They had salty anchovies and rice balls available for the refugees. There were salty anchovies and rice balls made from barley provided to the refugees as they landed. This was well thought out, as the refugees had not eaten properly for 3 days, and they would never forget that taste. Goji Island became a living base for the refugees. The Hungnam withdrawal is often remembered as the greatest miracle during the Korean War. It was unprecedented in history, a large-scale evacuation operation where more than 100,000 U.S. and South Korean soldiers were evacuated. They also achieved the miracle of saving 100,000 refugees, a rare operation in war history. The day the operation ended was December the 24th, Christmas Eve. The Chinese army took over Hungnam on December the 25th. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments below. If you are enjoying my videos, please hit the like button and subscribe. And I'm always open to feedback, so please let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do any specific topic videos, or if you're cool with me continuing with the historical videos, videos about different authors, and videos about different traditions and holidays. Again, please let me know in the comments below. Talk to you later. Bye.